Revelation 2129. From the 26th of October 1941. Prayer, union with God. Significant process. Only a few people grasp how significant the process of union with God is. But these few strive for union with God with all eagerness, for they know about the strength which flows to them through it. They know that such an influx of strength is blissful and that there is nothing which would be equivalent to it. And what they have once recognized is decisive for their earthly change. The majority of people, however, remain unaffected when they are informed that the union with God is something indescribably delicious. They only feel purely earthly and cannot put themselves into spiritual feelings. They remain defensive if wisdom is imparted to them which touches spiritual territory, and consequently cannot feel the flow of strength either, since it remains ineffective in the face of resistance. And thus contact can never be established between people and God, and the disadvantage of this is so inconceivable for the human soul, for it only attains ascent through God's grace, which again can only be acquired through acknowledging and striving towards the eternal deity. The influx of divine grace is always the result of union with God in prayer, for requesting God's grace is prayer, and this always presupposes spiritual union with God. Praying people can never fall, that is, remain distant from God. They will always come closer to God because they seek Him, they request Him and His strength, and thus they also receive His strength and grace. But this inevitably leads upwards. Anyone who prays unites himself with God. For as long as he prays, but in order to unite with Him ever more intimately and finally be completely united with Him, the one who prays acknowledges God as a power to whom he is subordinate. He submits himself to Him with full will. He no longer secretly or openly resists God, and thus God can provide him with His love and His strength, with His Spirit. And anyone who receives the Spirit from God is in contact with the spiritual kingdom. Knowledge flows to him and thus he stands in the light. And all this is achieved through conscious union with God. All this is achieved through heartfelt prayer, which is therefore the most significant process for the human being as long as he lives on earth. For prayer is the testimony of his will and his decision for God. Anyone who prays intimately has decided for God of his own free will and returns to the one from whom he started. Amen.